If you want to level up very quickly within Escape from Tarkov, today's video is going to be covering it. We're going to condense it all into one and kind of give you some of the best ways and something that I do every day to really push through some of these higher levels. And of course, if you're one of the lower level players, these are going to just drastically improve how quickly you can level up and get to some of those requirements that are for traders and various different things within the game. So if that sounds good, make sure to like the video and let's jump in straight away. So first things first, you are going to be wanting to at least get yourself some boxes where you can stash items, because it centers around some of the tasks in the game, which we'll get into in just a second. But essentially, you're wanting to stack up as many of these junk boxes as you possibly can, or if you've got thick items cases, or you've got standard items cases, or wherever you typically will put the gear and the valuables from your raids, whether they be standard loot that you might see in some of these boxes, for example, SSD, screws, just random assortments of various different things, or maybe some of the higher tier loot that you get from the raids. It's typically how I'll sort out my stash, but there's a reason why we're talking about stashes when it comes to today's video, and the reason why we are getting XP from some of these things. So obviously, making sure that you got as many and as big containers as possible where you can just stash all of those standard loot pieces in is going to drastically improve this method. Next thing is essentially being able to complete tasks. So this is what we're on about when it comes to this video and why it's so short, because although you might not understand that tasks are that good, or at least you kind of gloss over them, maybe you don't complete them every single day. When it comes to being a higher level player and when you're trying to push through some of the ranks, these tasks are actually really good to be able to level up. So from about level 30, your daily tasks are probably something that you want to be doing almost every single day. On PVE, a lot of the time you'll complete a lot of tasks within the game already, so your actual reputation is the kind of blocker, as opposed, or at least your XP is the blocker to getting some of those tasks done and unlocking the next set of traders, which means you can use some of that reputation to replace tasks that we have in the game. Now, if you are an Unheard Edition user, you can actually replace 2 tasks for free at the beginning of every day. And yeah, depending on the package, you can have less or none at all. But essentially, replacing your tasks is what today's video is all about, because today we've replaced all of my tasks in order to get a specific task in mind. And those are the find and transfer tasks. This is because they yield very good XP. And if you're on a pretty short or tight schedule where you don't have a huge amount of time to play, replacing these to be able to get the find and transfer tasks is going to be one of the easiest ways that you can do that. Now, obviously, find and transfer tasks can require a wide array of items, which is why we're stacking up as many item boxes as possible when I do play the game, not only for just ease of essentially sorting out after every single raid that I do, sorting into different compartments, whether it's something of high value, whether it's something that is like materials, or whether it's stuff that is just general loot that we get in the raids, and I can go through and filter those out and sell them, but also because of the tasks. And so doing that is just an added benefit, and you should pretty much be doing that anyway, just to get yourself more space and not having to sell everything after every raid, because you're going to waste a ton of time. And we all know in PvE, the core point is to get into the game and play the gameplay. So when it comes to tasks, that's the exact mentality that I have. And although you can have different tasks, they often actually reward you with less XP sometimes than what you'll get from find and transfer tasks, depending on what you're transferring in. And also the fact that you can make money from some of these tasks. So for example, this task right here, we had to hand over 2 OFZ shells. Now, these OFZ shells are really cheap. They're like 60k total or something like that. Roughly, off the top of my head, it might be slightly higher, might be lower. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, it's about 60k. But in actually handing it in, we're getting 94,000 rubles. We're getting 3 corrugated hoses, which off the top of my head, probably like 30 to 50k, something in that region. So we're making our money back just off of the corrugated hoses. And we're getting 90k rubles, plus we're getting some ammunition as well, which maybe you don't have the unlock to be able to craft or be able to actually purchase off of traders, which is also a good thing. And these actual items that you can receive are randomly generated from a set of rewards that you can get within the game. So completing these tasks can give you some really incredible things. I've even seen things like power filters come up in some of the weekly tasks, and also some of your kind of just generic tasks as well, depending on how difficult they are. I think difficulty does play a part in how much of a reward you actually get from it, but that's just speculation. I'm not entirely sure if there is any guaranteed thing with regards to that. But I would assume that there is some sort of difficulty to reward ratio, hence why you get different amounts of XP dependent on what the task is. Find and transfer tasks, typically very good XP regardless. So you can see here we've completed all of our tasks. I just kept on replacing my tasks until we got a find and transfer task. It doesn't take too many tries of actually doing it, and you are going to have to spend rubles to replace those tasks, but at the end of the day, the cost of actually doing that to the XP that you're getting is pretty good. And so if you were to compare it to a lot of other tasks where maybe you have to hand in 1.5 million rubles to complete a task that gives you 10k XP, for example, some of the lower level quests or whatever, yeah, you're going to make far more money doing this, or save yourself a lot more money. Plus, you're getting a lot more money back from some of the items that you're getting. So this one, we handed in some Pacific Soury, so a pack of Tarka, and also a bottle of vodka. So probably in the region of about like 300k or something like that. We probably made around about 300k back. But we also made 28,000 XP, and we got ourselves a therapist rep, which kind of boosts that rep back up as well. So that's something that I always do. And of course, completing these gives you all of the items that you can receive in your messenger. And so doing this actual thing has managed to get me like from like 58, level 58 to like 62, just pretty much by doing this every single day and playing my generic raids. If I have a really easy task that I'm going to be doing other tasks at the same time as, so for example, eliminating PMCs on Shoreline, then, and I'm playing Shoreline, I will do that task as it doesn't cost me anything to actually initially do it. But when you do have a task that is just completely irrelevant, always replace your task, complete these, and get yourself some rubles and XP. It is genuinely one of the best ways of kind of getting XP towards the later end of the game. And of course, once you kind of reach level 30, you should be doing them anyway, but maybe replacing your tasks is not something that you do, and just focusing on actually getting those tasks done, regardless of what they are, unless they're a really specific task that is just a pain, then just leave it for the day. But if you can do it, 100% go out, do your daily tasks. They reward you with a really, really nice XP that's based on your level. And you can see here, this one, 41,000 XP for 2 military cables. And yeah, pretty good rewards in return as well. Obviously, this video is not for experienced Tarkov players, but at the same time, I wanted to cover it because of the fact that a lot of people underestimate just how good the daily tasks are, and that you can make money and you can also get a ton of XP at the same time. So thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. Let me know what you want to see next, or if you have another method that is just really helpful for a lot of players. I want to showcase as many of those tips and things that can help people out. And if you enjoy that sort of content, make sure to subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next video. Check out this one on screen right here if you want some more tips for PVE, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.